Carl Zaw. This takes no introduction, but I'm going to give him one anyway. He's a geopolitical analyst as well as, I would say, a Chinese historian. Carl, welcome to the program. I brought you here because there is so much controversy going on about this new video game in China. Uh, let's talk about it, man. Tell me what is going on. What do you hear about it?
Black Myth Wukong is like the biggest game buster, triple A single player game right now. This most it has it's like it has sold more than 10 million copies, and that was 2 days ago, as of 9 p.m. Beijing time, 2 days ago. So the figure is still growing, and this is the first triple A game coming out of China. So there's a lot of excitement. I mean, the excitement has been built up for over 3-4 years now, waiting when the developers first released their first trailer. People have been waiting for this game launch ever since. And from what I have seen, I think the hype is totally justified. It's amazing. It's a work of love to to. I mean, the game material itself is based on a 16th century Chinese classic, Journey to the West, which is a work that's much beloved and which everyone kind of know by heart in China and the broader Chinese speaking world, and even like even in the East Asian countries, I would say, because the Journey to the West story is very famous in Japan, Korea, Vietnam, all these countries that have been previously influenced by Chinese culture. So a lot of people are looking toward this, but I think there's the so-called controversy is a bit contrived, because when we're talking about controversy, we're really talking about some hit pieces coming out from specific Western gaming journalist rags, right? I mean, it's basically a bunch of gaming journalists are complaining about, not actually gamers complaining about it. I mean, so far the reception have been overwhelmingly positive for people who actually purchase game and play the game. It's a very, I mean, gaming journalism is just a microcosm, I think, of the larger kind of the Western reporting on China, because they're always trying to nitpick and find something bad to say about it. And the angle they choose to attack is they try to say that the game has a lack of diversity. I'm like, come on, this is a game.
Yeah, I've read that.
This is a game out of a month
I've read
ago.
Yeah, I've also read some other hit lines here. So let's look at this. So the sales of the Chinese video game Black Myth Wukong hit 10 million. That was 3 days ago, almost. I think 2 or 3 days ago. We're by far surpassing that. The next one is, why is this Black Myth such a huge hit? I mean, you've described that this goes back many years. There's been build-up for it. But for the Western audience, how did we get to where we are today with a game that is pretty much every kid in China is probably indoors right now playing, and the parents are wondering, where are they? What's going on? So how did we get here? How did we really get here with this video game?
Well, I saw a user comment on YouTube on 1986 TV series of Journey to the West, and this comment is by a Chinese gamer, and the way he put it is, we have rode in the American West, we have served our time as a pirate in Europe, we have worked as assassin in Egypt, but today on the launch day of Black Myth Wukong, we can finally return home and play our own superheroes. I mean, that's what it means to a lot of Chinese people, because they grow up with the story. They even if they haven't read the original Ming Dynasty novel, but they would have consumed either through cartoon or TV series or movies, and everybody knows the Journey to the West story by heart, and they would totally love to relive the story through game, and that's what gaming science, the developer, has done. So the hype was already there in China. A lot of people are looking forward to this. But for a lot of people in the West, what blown away was the trailer they released like 3-4 years ago. It was just amazing. The graphics, amazing.
So this
Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't want to interrupt you too much, but as a Westerner here, okay, I'm getting where you're going with this. This is in family for generations here. This is a story. This is, you know, pretty much an entire I don't want to compare it to Harry Potter, but I mean, when Harry Potter went through the United Kingdom, I know, but fast forward 30 or 40 years, that's going to be a massively classic novel, which every British Canadian person is going to have read. But this involves Chinese history. This involves, characters that people can identify from all ages, from grandmothers to grandfathers to, young kids today. This is very exciting, and this is their own. And this, I mean, we could just see by the sales that have come out that this is, what a hell of a launch, huh? It outperformed. Just got some notes here. This Wukong is a single player action game where players take on the role of the Destined One. The Destined One is based on a character of Sun Wukong. Is that correct? I don't know if I'm pronouncing
Yes,
that correct.
yes, yes.
Um, or the Monkey King, a key character in the Journey to the West. The novel, considered one of the greats of Chinese literature, draws heavily from Chinese mythology, as well. You know it all here. So much folklore. Absolutely stunning on what it's done across the world here. Here's another comment. Wukong is already one of the fastest selling games of all time, moving almost as many units in 1 week as Elden Ring and Cyberpunk did in the first months. So this game is not going away, huh? It's going to be picking up some serious steam here. Let's
Oh yeah,
continue to talk about it.
I, I'm really excited because the developer Gaming Science that actually says it's going to be one of the first trilogy. They already have two more games lined up. Probably depending on the success. I mean, it's already turned out to be a big financial success in the first week. They invested about $50 million into making the game, and they already grossed 450 million in the first 3 days. And so they already made their money back and more. And I really hope what this game does is make all the big Chinese tech players like Tencent to sit up and pay attention, because the developers originally came from Tencent, and their complaint was that Tencent was so focused on making mobile game with microtransactions, because the idea is like Chinese player, they will never pay big money for a single player game. They rather play those free play to play games, and then they will add microtransaction to charge the money. So that's where the big money investment has been. But the game science, they have proved beyond the shadow of doubt that Chinese players will totally pay the big bucks to own and play a Chinese game that's set in a very Chinese setting. The game itself is done very well because it captures a lot of the traditional Chinese elements, either through their presentation, because a lot of the settings of the game is actually digital capture of real places in China. They went to different places of like ancient temples. One of them is in Chongqing, actually, where you are, in the Dazhu rock carving, and capture that and made it in game. I mean, I think for Western audience, I think a lot of people are more intrigued. They may not be hip to the Journey to the West story, but they understand.
Yes, on my recent trip to Dazu Rock Carvings, we did see some real cinematic visuals at their visitor center, and these were high resolution, kind of like trying to describe to you what the Dazu Rock Carvings were like. And when I walked out of there, I said, "Wow, this is," and I made a video about this. I said, "This is very advanced. Something's going on here." So it could be that possibly they were inspired when movie producers went there. And this is what we see in North America. And this is interesting. You're from China. I'm originally from North America, Canada, and I understand the video game industry there. It's put them out either annually before Christmas, get a big hype, get the people into the game. They load it up into their PlayStation or their, their Xbox or whatever device that they use, now mobile, and they push forward. Now we have seen some game manufacturers do very well. Some haven't. Some have attached it to movie productions. I mean, this video game itself, I mean, is Black Myth is a blockbuster in terms of even movie productions. Some movie producers would love to have an opening weekend of $500 million. Okay, and this is catering to not just Chinese. We are now seeing that this could possibly change the entire terrain, entire video game business, because it's not just about mobiles, as you said. It's the consoles. People still want to get into that, you know, player action, point of view, feeling that they're part of the game. Yes, you can get that on the mobile phones, but once again, I think maybe I'm right on this, is that the producers of this product are seeing that the people that are buying it are appreciating its hard work that it took to bring it to the market, appreciating that the budget. Hey guys, video game guys out there, don't be shy. Spend the money. We will be here because we want this experience. What an exciting day for the industry. Yeah, I'll pass it back to you now.
Yeah, indeed. I think it's a work of love made by gamers for
Mm-hmm.
gamers. My son is making some ruckus in the background, and
Okay.
the developers are originally part of Tencent. They're kind of getting tired of making mobile gacha games, and so they
Mm-hmm.
they want, just like the other Chinese gamer who said, we've been playing all these games set in America, in Europe, in Egypt. We want to experience our own culture through our own games. So they understood that there was a need, and they stepped up and supplied that demand. And this is why this game has done so well. And I really appreciate kind of the level of details they put into the game.
Right.
Not just digital capturing of all these fantastic places in China, but also they had like um, animation at the end of each chapter, which tells a story, and the animation is done in a traditional Chinese animation style. Everything just done so well. I mean, I'm blown away by it.
Do you think the Western market's going to understand this game? Or are they just going to ignore it and say, well, maybe it was lucky, they got lucky on this one, and yes, they're using their history, and we don't want a video game that's going to teach us something. Do you think the West will understand this concept? Clearly the Chinese haven't embraced it, and it's been absolutely fantastic. Once this game hits the $1 billion, well, it probably will hit the $1 billion mark in sales. So is this something the Western companies, or are they already benefiting? Is maybe these game consoles are benefiting from these games? I don't know. Are
Well,
they? Do they get a cut? I don't
I,
know.
I actually well, so right now it's released on PC and PlayStation, but they will be
Hmm.
released on Xbox later. The delay is
Mm,
mostly Xbox technical issue. It's not
right.
they have exclusive uh, rights or something. But I from what I've seen on YouTube, I watch a lot of people playing Black
Hmm.
Myth online on YouTube, and many of them are Westerners, and the reception is overwhelmingly positive. Most of them may
This
not
is
know
great.
the story, the background story, but it
Hmm.
doesn't matter because the game is an action game. You don't need to know the story, but what it does by putting you in a ancient Chinese mythological setting, it creates questions, it creates curiosity, and people. A lot of the gamer I saw play, oh, maybe I need to dig into this background story of Journey to the West, and and many of them have the same feedback that they say they've been tired of the same like game that
Right.
the same like games based on Norse mythology, based on the Western mythology. They're looking for something different. They're looking for something different that takes place in a different continent, a different culture, a whole different fantastic environment, and this is where Black Myth Wukong fit the bill perfectly. And I think it's in a way, it's like a gateway drug toward Chinese culture. I mean, to
Right.
introduce Journey to the West and Chinese mythology to a wider audience. It's a very easy entryway because they don't need to know the background story to enjoy the game. The game is
Right.
mostly action based, but it sparks curiosity. It makes people, marvel and wonder, about these places in ancient China, for example.
It's interesting, how we see success with these Chinese game, and then it's immediately followed up by, Western hit pieces on the game. It's controversial. It's not giving women free rights in the game, or maybe, it's coming from all angles, and that's what makes it really, really interesting. That if this is catching the attention of the Western media, then it's having its impact. We have to remember that a lot of these movies, a lot of these video games that are rolled out in North America are rolled out by major media publications. They are either earmarked in movies based around them. That would be Disney or other studios, Universal Studios that's involved in it. We saw a major hit just recently released at the studios. A lot of them intertwine music. Music creation is involved. So the media really does play a major role in the launch of a lot of these video games and the feedback of a lot of these video games. I mean, if you're going to have a video game and it comes out in the United States and it crashes and burns, I mean, these development studios are majorly affected by it. A lot of these studios, and when I use the word studios, I'm not just talking gaming studios, I'm talking full-fledged production studios like, the Disneys, the Universals, the Time Warner. These major productions, they invest in these styles of games. We have seen it for many years, and they will continue moving forward. I mean, GT 6, I think Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to be released. You want to know how serious they got? Well, apparently, even the trailers that were leaked for that game ended up in massive litigation towards people that were waiting for the excitement to come out. And we saw, the amount of publicity that got. So it's quite an exciting week here to see what will happen with this game. I hope all the best will happen to it, and that it will actually, bridge relations between Western countries and China. But I'll hold my breath on that. Anyway, I'll give you the last moment here. Maybe you can explain to some people if they're interested in going out to their local shop this weekend to pick it up. If they're in, you've spent a fair amount of time in America. Yeah, let's hear your closing remarks on this one.
Highly recommend, 100%. I mean, ignore all these head pieces from gaming journalism. I mean, gaming journalism itself is a very small niche market, and what these journalists are basically writing from power trip. They're like, okay, if you don't conform to my own ideology, my own pet peeves, then it's bad. From what I've seen, the reception from the gamers themselves in the West is overwhelmingly positive. A lot of them are just the German gaming journalist hit piece on Black Wukong actually caused a huge backlash in the West because people are calling out their bullshit. For example, when they say there's not enough diversity, are you kidding me? This game is about a monkey who is fighting like the fox Stevens, the spiders, the bears, and then you have the complaint that the game didn't have women. Apparently, the reviewer who wrote for Screen Rant only played 2 hours and never got past the first chapter because all the women characters are after chapter 2, and there were plenty of them. So this is kind of this slop speaks more for the sloppy journalism than anything else. So a lot of people are waking up to that, and I think it's a positive development. Maybe they will lead them to question, other portrayal of China in the Western mainstream media. But I'll take that as a win. My recommendation is people go check it out for yourself. If you are hesitant, watch YouTube. There's plenty of YouTube videos now of people playing the game. I mean, see for yourself. From what I've seen, I'm very hype on it. It's 100% recommend.
Well, thanks again for your time, Carl. I appreciate that on short notice coming to chat with me about this game, but this game is just not quieting down. Anyway, it's Alex here with iChongqing here in Chongqing, China. Thank you, Carl Zah, once again. And if you want to follow Carl, his links will be in the description below. You want to know anything about China, that's the guy to ask as well. All right, guys, take care. Thanks for watching. Appreciate your time. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that button right after this video. Thanks for watching.